Hi, and welcome to day 4 of our 21 days of prayer. Today I'm going to be reading from the book of Matthew, chapter 22, verses 37 through 38. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. To love is to give. It's not an emotional attachment that the Lord is asking for, but one that requires giving all of yourself to God. In Capital Kids Wednesday night service, we've been talking about this for the last month, and this is something that I would really encourage you to talk to your kids and your grandkids about if they've been attending. They've been learning about the heart of worship through the lessons in the life of Abraham. In Genesis 12, verses 1 through 8, Abraham goes to Canaan because he's directed by the Lord. And he says he will give him this land to his descendants. And out of the heart of worship, Abram builds not one, but 2 altars to honor God. He wasn't told to do this and he wasn't forced to do it, but it came out of the abundance of his heart. In Genesis 17, verses 1 through 8, the Lord appears to Abram and he makes a covenant. He changes his name to Abraham and tells him that he will be the father of many nations. Abraham bows with his face on the ground. Abraham was in awe of God because, you see, at this point, he had no children. And this bow was out of love, respect, and honor to God. In Genesis 18, 1 through 10, Abraham is visited by 3 guests, which he knew were visitors from God. He not only made them a meal and made them comfortable, but he served the best of all that he had. Not because he was required to, but this was once again out of his heart of worship for God. In Genesis 22, verses 1 through 13, God tells Abraham to sacrifice his only child that him and Sarah had waited their entire lives for. At the last second, God spared his son and provided a lamb for the sacrifice. Abraham worshiped God with his whole heart, which included his obedience to God and his direction. There's so many ways that we can worship God: singing, lifting our hands, bowing before God, serving meals, and just simply being obedient to God's leading. God doesn't care about the how. God cares about our heart. Once we truly and completely give ourselves to the Lord and love him with all of our heart, our soul, and our mind, the rest flows out naturally and in abundance.